So what is a talent? It's approximately 85 pounds of a precious metal. Copper, silver, or gold. Which means it would have an equivalent material value of approximately $1.2 million. Okay? That's what a talent is. It's nothing small. It's quite substantial. But one of the things that we forget is that the master knew the capability and the abilities of each of his servants. Right? The one who he gave 5 talents to, he must have known that he was capable of handling the 5 talents. Right? You don't have somebody just walk up to you and go, here's $5 million, have fun. That doesn't happen. So the master knew. Because at some point in time, that servant had failed. At some point in time, that servant had to learn what it was like to be entrusted with the gifts that God entrusts us with. And as he learned, he began to learn the Father or the Master's love for him. And the Master's encouragement, the Master's support. Right? One of the things the enemy does really, really well is he discourages us. He makes us think that we aren't good enough to be the daughters and sons of God the Father. The enemy wants to say, look at you. Why would the Father want you? Well, the truth is he created you, he holds you in existence. That doesn't change ever. The Father always wants you. He's always pursuing you and always seeking you. He's always pursuing and seeking after me. The servant who was given the 5 talents knew this. And he had great confidence in the master. And he knew what the master desired of him. Because he took the chance with what the master had given him before. That's why when he returns in such a way that's filled with joy. He comes to the master, he goes, look, I had these 5 and I gave you 5 more. Nowhere does he say, you harvest where you did not plant, and you scatter what is not yours. No, he doesn't say that. Because he knows that the master is in charge of all. He knows that everything belongs to the master. There's nothing that isn't his. And so this is what makes these servants so different from the one who receives the 1 talent. The servant who receives the 1 talent doesn't know the master. He thinks that the master is cruel. He thinks that the master isn't fair. He thinks that the master doesn't love. Which is so far from the truth, but it's because he's never allowed himself to take the chance to get to know who the master is. And because he never took the chance, the only experience he has of him is one that's based on rules and expectations and judgments. There is no love between that servant and that last servant and the master. But the other 2, there is great love, and that's why they respond so quickly. As soon as they receive the master's gift, they go, okay, let's do this. Because they're in love. Right? How many of you have been in love before? A couple of you? All right, not all of us yet. That's okay. It's all right, we'll work on that. Not right now, but we'll work on it. But when you fall in love with someone, what your heart desires more than anything else is to respond to the love. It doesn't matter what I had to change when I was dating in college. It didn't matter. My girlfriend would say to me, you know, that really kind of hurts me when you're sarcastic. I'm like, really? I don't want to hurt you. I actually want to change because I love you. So help me to know when I'm being sarcastic, because I don't want that to be there anymore. Because I love you, and it hurts me when I hurt you, and I don't want to hurt me by hurting you. And so I want to change. Or when she would say, you know, I really like when you would cook. I'm like, really? Great. It gives me all the more reason, because there was something in my heart where I didn't care that it caused me to sacrifice something. Because in that sacrifice, it was for love's sake. The one who received the 5 talents and the 2 talents, they didn't care about the sacrifice that was being asked of them because they knew the love that the Father had for them, that the Master has for them. And so because they knew the love, there was no cost. There was nothing to count. There was no score to keep. Just a gift to be given and a gift to be received. And this is the beauty in the invitation. God is asking us to take the chance on Him. To be honest with ourselves, if we don't know Him, if we feel that everything is about rules, everything is about judgments. That's how I thought before the Lord gently brought me in to ask a very particular question. The question in college that transformed my life was, why does the church teach what she teaches? And it rocked my world because it was the first time I stopped imposing my views on the church. I began to say, okay, God, I'm going to give you a chance. This is before my total conversion took place, and I actually came back fully into the fold of the church. But it was that question. Why does the church teach what she teaches? Where does it come from? And my brothers and sisters, I firmly believe that this gospel illustrates where it comes from. It comes from a Father who so loves His children that it comes out of love. I couldn't receive that when I was in college at the beginning because I didn't know the love of the Father. I couldn't receive the facts of what the church was asking me, how she was asking me to live my life, how God was asking me to live my life, because I saw Him as the one who had 1 talent. All about rules, all about judgments, doing whatever He wanted, and there was no love. So how do we cultivate this love? By giving God time, giving Him space. Start with 15 minutes a day of prayer. Because unless you allow yourself and create that space and say, God, I want to know You, it doesn't happen. God doesn't force Himself into your life. He wants to be invited there so that He can share with you the joy that He has. And the beauty that He sees in each of you. It's one of the gifts of being a priest is when I walk with students and seminarians and fathers and mothers and just everyone in between, is the delight that I experience of the Father's gaze on each of His sons and daughters. And how much He wants you to know that. And so what I just ask for us, like we did a couple weeks ago, let's just take a moment and close our eyes and just breathe. And just invite the Father there. And whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, just ask the Lord to be there with you. Ask for His help. Because He wants you to know that you're worth more than many talents.